And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to my Movie Lovers Did You Know? And matter of fact, did you know Groundhog's Day and back in 1993? This is going to be my fun facts for Groundhog Day, starring Bill Murray. Not only that, but this is also the 30th anniversary for Groundhog's Day, and what better way to do this than on Groundhog Day itself, right? So, here's some facts about it. For number one, it was actually inspired by a successful book by screenwriter David Rubin was reading The Vampire Lists Dead, a story from Anne Rice's series of vampire novels. This got him thinking about immortality, realizing it might be hard or expensive to make a film about something growling as a person over centuries. Rubin married the idea to one he had previously about a guy who lived the same day over and over. So I definitely love the concept that it was actually based on an idea after reading an Anne Rice book. So I never knew that. So I thought that was actually pretty fascinating. The script was more intended as a showpiece than a potential future movie. So basically, what they're saying is Rubin had sold a screenplay for the thriller Hear No Evil, and he was ready for the next step in his career. His agent suggested he write a script he could use as a calling card, according to accounts from Vulture and 15 Minutes. 15 minutes with that was less a movie to get produced and more of a film that could grab attention and get him meetings. Rubin opened a calendar, saw Groundhog Day, and thought it would be a good holiday to center his calling card script on. The original ending came with a twist. And let me tell you about that twist. It's a little early to jump to the ending of Groundhog Day, but don't worry because this is the ending that didn't happen. When Rubin wrote the story, Bill Murray's Phil breaks the time loop and confesses his love to Rita, Annie MacDonald. And at this point, Rita is now not ready for the love and rejects Phil. The twist is that she enters a time loop of her own, and the film ends on the external note. I'm glad that they didn't do that. I think it would be like too much of it, especially when you're also doing a time loop already with Bill Murray. And I think that adding Andy MacDonald into a time loop, it wasn't necessary because Andy was actually a sweet character versus Bill Murray's character, who was just like a ball bag for the whole entire film. He had to learn as he went along his journey. With Andy MacDonald's character, I don't think there was a reason to actually have a time loop within this movie itself. And pun intended, I think it would be too time consuming. Harold Ramis liked it, but didn't think it was funny. And I actually agree with that. The script for Groundhog Day ended up in the hands of Ramis' agent, who passed it along to his client, who was an established comedy director by then. Ramis read the script and liked it to a degree. The director liked the script's romance and spirituality, but he said he didn't laugh when reading the script. And this is also, of course, when Rubin had two offers for his script, one from the indie studio where he would maintain creative control, or Ramis's and Columbia. The writer went with Ramis. Ramis and Rubin rewrote the script together at first. Rubin lost some control over Groundhog Day, but he was able to be a part of the screenwriting process alongside Ramis. Ramis wanted to add some humor and suggest the twist of Rita being stuck in a loop at the end being removed, which it was. After Rubin completed a new draft, Ramis took over the project. Rubin was not involved. At this point, Ramis removed the character of Rita's boyfriend, Max, Phil's narration, and any surgeons outside of Punxsutawney that Rubin had included. Neither Ramis or Rubin got their first choice for Phil. Rubin had hoped for Kevin Kline to play Phil Connors, but as the screenwriter, he didn't have any say. Ramis did, but his first choice was Tom Hanks. Hanks turned down the role. He reasoned that given his tendency to play a good-hearted people, the audience would irreverently wait for his version to Phil to turn good, hit the Atlantic. So, I'm glad that Tom Hanks didn't go ahead and play that role because, like, at that time, Tom was basically playing these good guy roles and stuff like that where people actually looked up to him. He was also a kind-hearted person, so I don't think he was able to play that kind of role just yet until maybe if you actually think about it, maybe a little bit snobbish when it came down to You Got Mail, and then, of course, you wind up having the suspense film that came out a couple of years later, well, many years later. But still, I think that it was a smart move to actually put Bill Murray in that role, not just saying that off a nostalgia factor, but I just think that he delivered it a lot better. than what Tom Hanks could do. Another actor regretted not playing Phil after Hanks passed. Michael Keaton was offered the role. While he thought it was the kind of character he could play, he said he did not understand the film. Thus, Keaton turned the role down, and he later told Entertainment Weekly in 2014 that he regretted doing so in the end. Ramis' longtime collaborator Bill Murray took the part. Even with Michael Keaton, I have to say, I liked him as Batman. I liked him as an actor. And yes, he can play that snarky, douchebag kind of thing, but to see him in a time loop doing something that Bill Murray could actually do, I think that was something that I don't think that would be very fitting for Keaton and stuff like that. But that's just me looking into it like that. Murray's casting set the path for Rita. Originally, comedians were auditioning to play Rita. However, the producers realized that they didn't want another comedic performer vibing for laughs with Murray, a miraculous actor who likes to improvise. Tori Amos was apparently considered for the role, but ultimately it went to Annie McDowell, who was hired for her warmth opposite of Murray. And I believe that. And here's the thing. With Annie McDowell, here's what I like about her. She has this small girl, kind of girl next door kind of vibe, kind of like laid back in this small town kind of city kind of environment, which is why I like Annie McDowell in these kind of roles. And especially whenever you look at the movie Michael with John Travolta and stuff like that too. She just has this small town kind of gal, if you will, where basically she has a small town kind of flavor to her that I think that is very fitting for a small town atmosphere. And I think that she plays the role of Rita really well, to the point where, you know, you can actually see them bouncing off of each other and things like that. And she's not trying to be comedic or anything like that. She's actually improvising into the way of being a love interest towards the end of this film, from going totally disgusted by this guy, then all of a sudden turning around where she winds up falling in love with the guy, even though he's repeating the same amount of days and stuff like that. But still, I think it's actually really good for the casting. Murray's casting probably led to another bit of casting. The actor who plays Buster Green, the man who presides over Punxsutawney's Groundhog Day festivities, that would be Brian Doyle Murray. He is Bill Murray's brother and often appears in the film. And here's the thing, I think that actually adds a little bit of comedic flavor to actually have him in there. A future famous face made his debut as well, which is Fred, one of the two young newlyweds in the movie who happily received WrestleMania tickets, is played by none other than Michael Shannon, the future Oscar nominee who was making his on-screen debut as an actor. He spent most of his shooting in the background at the diner, as he needed to be there in the future scenes. The studios wanted an explanation. Rubin had abandoned about reasons to why Phil was stuck in the time loop, but ultimately he had decided to nix it. The studio, however, felt that the movie needed to explain Phil's pig light, or they wouldn't greenlight the film. Ruben Ramis and producer Trevor Albert tried to appease the studio, throwing out ideas about a course for a jilted lover or a malfunctioning machine created by a scientist, but Ramis never had any intent to include an explanation in this film. And here's the thing, that's the thing that I found most fascinating, was the fact that there's a reason why he's getting in this time loop, is to learn something. And to put like a time travel machine or a time loop machine and a scientist in this thing will actually pull you out of a rom-com, and then it all of a sudden turns into a rom-com mixed in with a science fiction film, and it just doesn't land. It doesn't know its identity at that point or anything like that if they did something like that. So I'm glad that he actually took away the malfunctioning machine that created a time loop and just allowed the character actually examine his own self and realize what he's doing to solve this time loop, so that way he can stop repeating the same days over and over again. So I think that was more fitting than having to do that. And a matter of fact, Happy Death Day 2 did that, and I really didn't like how they did that with Happy Death Day as well, with the whole time loop and the science behind it and stuff like that. But anyways, that's it as far as our movie lovers did you know Groundhog's Day 1993 fun facts. By the way, like I said, this is actually the 30th anniversary of the release of Groundhog Day. I hope that you enjoy this video. I hope that you go on ahead, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. If you're waking up over and over again, smash it again. And if I'm repeating myself again, repeat the same thing over and over again, just like Bill Murray did. And always until next time, guys, it's been real, it's been fun. I can't wait to do this again. And thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for liking this video, and have a great and safe day.